सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. ॐ. Page 87, verse 26. सदेरुपनिपूर्वस्य क्विपि चोपनिषद्भवेत् मन्दीकरणभावाच्च गर्भादेशातनात्तथा. Shankaracharya, concluding this first chapter of this Upadesha Sahasri, which is in the second part in metrical form. The last shloka, in the last class, we were seeing the meaning or derivation of the Upanishad word. I gave the derivation, the meaning of that sad, and we have to see the prefixes. Two prefixes are there, upa and ni. Upa plus ni plus sad, put together Upanishad. The sad is the root verb. It has got three meanings we saw. The first meaning, the derivation meaning is that which has got a power to weaken. Sad means the first meaning is to weak. Weak, spelling you have to write properly. Weak. Mandikaranam, weak. That is the first meaning. Second meaning of sad is to destroy. Third meaning of sad is to take to or to lead. To lead. These are the three meanings. Now, it has got a quipi, a suffix. That means suffix is that after the root, later it joins. That is called a suffix. Before the root, whatever is joined is called prefix. The root is preceded by a letter or two letters, it is called prefix. It is followed by, that is, later whatever comes is called suffix. These are the two we are seeing here in this Upanishad word, which serves as an agent. The quipi is that which is invisible actually. You don't see that suffix in that word. Where we can know it is now, you can know only its formation. After its formation only you come to know, but it is not visible grammatically, but it is there in invisible form. So we have to accept the quipi. Acharya says, on upani sad, the quipi comes, the quip suffix comes, therefore Upanishad it becomes. Therefore quipi serves as an agent. It serves as an agent to convert the verb into noun. To convert the verb into a word, into a noun. Like walk, to walk is a verb. To walk. If you add er, walker. Walker means a person who is walking is called walker. So walker is a noun. To walk is a verb. How verb became a noun? That er is called quipi in English, if you want to know, understand. Er, walker. W-A-L-K, that ER is quippy. What it does, that ER, the quippy, which converts, which serves as an agent to convert the verb into noun. The ER has converted the walk verb into walker. Similarly, write, if you add ER, quippy, quip. Quip, if you add, it is not quip. I am just for understanding sake. ER is visible, but in Upanishad you don't find any ER and all. So, writer it becomes. So, to write is a verb. Writer is a noun. Like that, here also, Upa plus Ni plus Sad, that Upanishad, it is a noun, it becomes because of quip. How it becomes a noun? Sad means, first meaning what we saw? Too weak. Now, Upanishad is that which weakens, weakener, and N-E-R, if you join quippy, it is called quip. Weak, weakener. Upanishad is that which weakens. What? Samsara, which weakens your sorrow. It removes your sorrow. Samsara weakener is called Upanishad. Samsara weakener. Similarly, destroy. To destroy is a verb. You add ER, destroyer. Upanishad becomes a noun which destroys your ajnanam, ignorance. The destroyer of our ignorance is called Upanishad. Destroyer, destroy plus ER, destroyer. Once it is destroyer, it is a noun. What is that which destroys? The destroyer is who? Upanishad is the destroyer. Destroyer of what? My ignorance. Clear? So, destroyer. You cannot say to destroyer. When you say only verb, to destroy. Once you say destroyer, Upanishad is the destroyer. Of what? You put a question of ignorance. Whose ignorance? My ignorance. My own ignorance. Second meaning. Then third meaning, to take, to lead, that which leads us to moksha, liberation. That is the Sad, the third meaning. To lead, to take, to the leader. You see now, lead has become leader. Upanishad is the leader which takes me, holding my hand, like blind people always showed way by person who is having eyes. Like that, I am a blind person now. About my real nature, I am a blind person. Upanishad is holding my hand, leading me to moksha. That's why leader. L-E-A-D, lead, you add E-R, quip, it becomes a leader. Upanishad is the leader. Leader of whom? Leader to what? Moksha. Whom? Those who are in bandha, it leads to moksha. So this is the meaning of sad. Now upani we have to see, that I have to explain. Upa means samipa, immediate, very close, immediate meaning. Here immediate meaning. We saw different meanings in Kathopanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad and other Upanishads. Now here a special meaning we are seeing, almost close only, but different way. Upa means immediate. Immediately. One upasarga, that is one prefix. Upa. Then second prefix is ni. In Upanishad, what is the first two letters? What are the first two letters? Upa. Not upma, upa. Okay, only upa. Immediate. Ni means nischayena, definitely. Definitely. Immediate and definite. That is the meaning of two prefixes. Clear? Upasarga. Upa one upasarga, ni one upasarga. Both upasargas give this meaning, immediate and definite. Now you have to make a sentence. Upa plus ni plus sad. That quip is there. Er, the weakener, destroyer, leader. Upanishad is that which immediately, definitely weakens our samsara. Which weakens our samsara or sorrow. Samsara people won't understand. Which weakens our sorrow. Upanishad is the weakener of my sorrow. This is the first meaning. Now, again, second meaning you have to add. Upanishad is that which is immediately, definitely destroys my samsara, my ignorance. Samsara we have taken in the beginning, first meaning. So it destroys my ignorance. Destroyer of my ignorance immediately, definitely. This immediately, definitely is very important. Immediately in this life itself. Definitely means no doubt in that. Immediately, definitely, it destroys my ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of myself. Atma Ajnanam, destroyer. Upanishad is the destroyer. Clear? Now third meaning also. Upanishad is that which is immediately, definitely leads me to moksha. Upanishad immediately, definitely leads me to moksha. Now clear? See, in all Upanishad, when we have studied, we don't remember also. Now it is a recharging once again, reinforcement. What you already received, that is there in your mind, you can again recollect. This is the meaning of Upanishad. Now, one more point. The Upanishad is a book. It is a text. Mundakopanishad, which we are going to see from next class. Bhashyam. Upanishad, Mundakopanishad, Kaivalyopanishad, Kenopanishad. Like that, 10 Upanishads. 10 to 11, 12 Upanishads we have seen. There are many more Upanishads. Upanishad is a text. Upanishad is a text or a book. Can a book give me moksha? Can a book destroy my ignorance? Can a book remove my samsara? Book cannot remove. Okay. If book removes, you hold the book, you will get knowledge. If you hold the book, Upanishad, Mundakopanishad, if you hold in your hand, you will be liberated. If book gives moksha. In spite of holding books so tightly, we are not getting moksha. In spite of holding book, we are not free from ignorance. Then what gives moksha? The content. Upanishad is a book, its content, the book is a container. In that container book, there is a content called wisdom, knowledge. The wisdom, even words cannot remove ignorance. Upanishad means words, Vedic words. Yo Brahmanam, some mantras if you remember, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam, if you chant those words, are you liberated? Can Shabda liberate? Just words, utterance liberate? No. Can it remove my samsara? No. Just words cannot remove my ignorance. Just words cannot destroy my samsara. Just words cannot take me to moksha. Book by itself cannot give moksha. Words by themselves cannot give moksha. But the content of that book, that is wisdom. The wisdom which is there in that Upanishad, it has to be unfolded. The knowledge, the wisdom in that book, Upanishad name, that book which has got Upanishad, which has got a wisdom content. The container is book, but what is that content? Wisdom, Atma Jnanam, that Brahma Vidya. That content removes my ignorance. That content, the wisdom, gives knowledge. That wisdom removes my samsara, my ignorance. That wisdom takes me to moksha. So, what is important now? Meaning, artha. That shabda artha is important. The meaning is important. Pada artha is important. Not just chanting mantras. Swamini, I want to by heart Mundakopanishad. One lady asked me, one student, I want to by heart Mundakopanishad. I want to by heart another Mandukyopanishad. By hearting Kantha Patham, are you going to get moksha? It is Kanta Shosha, really speaking. Like a parrot, if you go on chanting, you will get punyam. You don't say it is waste, but you get punyam, chitta shuddhi, lot of punya you will get. But that shabda utterance cannot remove my ignorance. That shabda has to be unfolded in a proper manner by a guru. I have to expose to that unfoldment. When Guru reveals that wisdom which is there in that Upanishad, when I listen from my Guru, then only I will get knowledge. Not just by holding the book, not by just Parayanam, nothing can come. What is the wisdom in that Upanishad? I have to extract. There are a lot of things in the Upanishad. What is the purport? What is the tatparyam? What is the exact meaning? I have to extract with the help of my Guru. I alone cannot do that. My Guru helps me how to extract. So this is the meaning of Upanishad. Therefore Acharya says, my Upadesha Sahasri is that text which I am going to start. This Upodghata Adhyaya, introduction. This is that Upadesha Sahasri is not separate from Upanishadic wisdom. Why use the word Upanishad in 26th shloka? Why he has to use that word Upanishad? Acharya has got the intention. This is the intention. What is the intention? Upanishad is that which contains wisdom, Atma Vidya, Atma Jnanam. My Upadesha Sahasri Grantha also is same content. That's why he quoted a lot of Upanishadic mantras. Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, Taitareyam. So many Upanishads he has quoted, Acharya. Why? Because it is as good as Upanishad. What? Upadesha Sahasri. If I study Upadesha Sahasri, it is as good as Upanishad. So Acharya gives always Upanishadic quotings everywhere. He quotes. We have to recollect our Upanishadic mantras which we have already completed. With this, this first chapter is over. Now I will give you the summary of this chapter. Since it is very small chapter, I will finish. If we have time, we'll go to the next chapter. Small chapters. First two slokas. In the first sloka, it is a Mangala shloka, prayer verse for Nirvigna Parisamapyartham, to get the grace of that Lord to study. Author writes to study, to write the book completely without any obstruction. The reader who is reading, studying this text also have to chant the prayer for successful completion of listening. Not only that, for successful understanding, right understanding also. So prayer is very important. Mangala shlokaha. Then second shloka is Upodghata shlokaha, Avatarika shlokaha. Prakaranam name itself is Upodghata Prakaranam. First chapter title is what? Upodghata Prakaranam. Introduction. Avatarika means introduction. Introductory shloka. Second shloka is called Avatarika. Avatarika means introduction. Introduction means the shloka tells after karma kanda you have to come to gnana kanda. That is the avatarika. Introduction is what? After completing karma kanda means rituals, all rituals for length of time, upasana kanda, karma kanda over, athato brahma jignasa. Atha ataha, since karma kanda, karma cannot give you moksha, better you have to spend some time every week, weekly twice or thrice you attend classes. Other timings you do your family duties, do rituals, you want to go to temple, do puja, but don't miss the class. Who says? Shankaracharya is telling in Avatarika. Come to Gnana Kanda, attend regularly classes, Vedanta classes, attend regularly. The Artham, second shloka. Okay. Then third shloka onwards, third, fourth and fifth shlokas, Acharya establish Gnanat eva mokshaha. Atma Gnanat eva mokshaha. Na tu karmana. Na karmana, na prajayadhanena. Not by any amount of karma, but Gnanat eva mokshaha. Then he said there, samsara is a chakram. Raga, dvesha, kama, krodha. In this chakram, vicious cycle it is. Ahankara, mamakara leads to raga, dvesha leads to kama, krodha. Again because of kama you do again karma, because of karma again janma to karma, karma to janma, janma to karma. This vicious cycle you have to come out of. Samsara, janana, marana, chakram. One has to, giant wheel this is. You have to come out. How can you come out? Only through jnanam. Therefore, ajnana is the moola karanam for this vicious cycle. Ajnana is the moola karanam, or ignorance is the moola karanam, root cause of all problems. Physical problems, emotional problems, even physical problems, they themselves will not disturb, really speaking. Our attachment with the physical body only disturbs us. Our attachment with physical body only disturbs us. It is just like when you are working at home, you don't listen the tick 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 sound. You know, that watch is making a noise, tick 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 tick. But when you lie down before going to sleep, you switch off the lights and all. In the night, all transport, vehicles, everything stopped. Now you listen the tick 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 sound. How you listen? Because you are focusing on that. Your mind is focused. That's why you are listening. But what happened other timings? Your mind is preoccupied. Similarly, body also, when you are so much focusing upon the body only, you feel pain. If you don't focus, you don't feel that much pain. Even emotions also, mind also like that only. If you more identify with the mind emotions, you feel more painful, more disturbing. Otherwise, you don't bother what emotions are going on. When you sit alone, especially in dhyanam, all emotions come to surface. Other timings when you are working, cooking time, other work when you are doing, where those emotions have gone? No. When you lying down, only all emotions comes. And they will not allow you to sleep. How? Because you are identifying, focusing. That is why root cause is because of ignorance. Next, 6th and 7th sloka, Acharya says, karma cannot give moksha. Karma cannot destroy ignorance. In 3, 4, 5, jnanam alone gives moksha. It removes samsara chakra, he said. Now 6 and 7, he says, karma cannot give. It is not capable of giving moksha. It cannot remove ajnana. Your ignorance cannot be removed by karma. Any amount of punya karma you do, it cannot destroy your ignorance. Because ignorance is the karanam for samsara. Therefore, ignorance cannot be destroyed by karma. This is the topic. Karma is unable to destroy our ignorance. Then 8 to 11. Samuchayavada, Purvapakshi comes, introduce 4 vadas, 8 to 11. 4 reasons he gives. You know all those 4 reasons. Now I will tell you the answers, each reason given by Purvapakshi, Samuchayavada. I will give that, what he says, and what is the answer Acharya gives. From 8 to 25, he gives the answer. 12 to 25. 12 to 25. So 8 to 11, Purvapakshis, 4 reasons. First reason what he gave, Veda Vihitatvat he gave. Adhik badili namu sollano. Shankaracharya gives the answer. Varna Ashrama Atitatvat. The reason he gave was karma prescribed by Shastra. Veda Vihitatvat, reason he gave. What is our answer? Siddhanti, Shankaracharya's answer? Because it is not relevant. Varna Ashrama Atitaha Gnani. Gnanam is Varna Atitam, Ashrama Atitam. Once you gain Gnanam, Aham Brahmasmi, for which Varna? I am Atma, pure consciousness. Brahmana Atma, Kshatriya Atma, Shudra Atma, Vaishya Atma nirko. Na Varna, na Ashrama Achara Dharmaha. I am not either Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra. I am pure consciousness. That's why Shudra Chaitanyam Brahma also same. Vaishya's Chaitanyam also same. Brahmana's Chaitanyam is also same. Brahma Mokkate, Para Brahma Mokkate. In all Varnas. No change. But when you come to Vyavaharika level, rituals level, you have to follow Varna. Some people interpret this problem. What problem? I don't have any Varna. When they are saying, I don't have any Varna, from which I standpoint? Paramarthika I, not Vachyartha I. Unfortunately, people do not know this. Everyone is Brahman. Everyone is Brahman. From body-mind standpoint, everyone is not Brahman. Varna dharma, ashrama dharma, you have to follow. When you are doing Vyavahara, everyone is same is not applicable. Therefore, when marriage function or any function comes, front seat, donor's seat, where the people who are donors, who are patrons, they are conducting the program. You have to give first seat. Everyone is Brahman, come on, all of you sit. Next time you cannot conduct a program. Nobody will give you money. You have to give first row, reserved. You have to give reserved, you have to reserve that seat. And you have to categorize the seats. 1,000 rupees ticket, 500 rupees ticket, 200 rupees ticket. Madri, here also Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharmas are relevant. Don't mix up. People mix up and mess up. Arakorai Gnanam. This is called Arakorai Padippan Cholluva. Many people are like that. I seen, and they are confused, and they think they are not confused, but they are totally confused. They have not studied Shastra. Everyone is same. Everyone is not same. How can they are same? From Vyavaharika Drishti, everyone cannot be same. A person who has studied well and Pandita and illiterate person, they are same. Huh? Both of you will give same salary? You cannot give. Manager get different salary, clerk get different salary. Everyone is Brahman. All of you take same salary, and now how it work cannot be done. So everyone is same. Na samam Brahma. That is true, but paramarthika drishtya. When Vyavahara comes, puja comes, vratam comes, any vivaham comes, upanayanam comes, any ritual comes, you have to follow varna dharma, ashrama dharma. All you have to follow. No choice there. Okay. So varna ashrama atitaha. Jnanam, it takes you varna ashrama atitam. Because I am Brahman. I am not connected to any varna and ashrama. When? From paramarthika angle. You have to understand. Otherwise you collapifying you will confuse the family members. You cannot invite a servant and call and ask her to sit on the dining table, eat along with all of us. I am broad-minded. This is not broad-minded, brood-minded. It is not broad-minded. You are confused in artham. Very difficult. That people create problems in society. Okay, where they have to sit, they have to sit. Clear? You cannot offer. Whom to worship, you have to worship. Who deserve to be worshipped, you have to worship. That's all. Okay, I don't want to go deep into that. Second reason he gave sahakaritvat. Karma is sahakari, supportive, he said. For that Acharya gave the answer, Vidya and karma cannot go together. There is no need of support of karma. Vidya and karma both are opposite to each other. Paraspara virodhatvat, viruddhatvat. Since mutually both are diagonally opposite. Paraspara viruddhatvat. Therefore sahakaritvam is not possible. Then third reason he gave pratyavaya dosha. Then Acharya gave answer, pratyavaya dosha is when it is vidhi is there for him. This is vidhi you have to do. Then only he gets pratyavaya papa. How can he get pratyavaya papa when vidhi is irrelevant for him? For aham brahmasmi jnana vandadikappuram, no varna, no ashrama for him, because he has gone beyond that. He transcended. He or she has transcended that varna dharma, ashrama dharma because of knowledge. That vidhi will not work. It is not applicable. Once vidhi is not applicable, how pratyavaya is applicable? Vidhi is applicable, only pratyavaya functions. Pratyavaya papa will come if he vomit, if he won't do. Omission and commission, vidhi nishedha, when they are there, only pratyavaya is relevant. Vidhi nishedha is not relevant for him. Pratyavaya also not relevant. Acharya answer. See, Samuchayavada Khandana easily in 4 prashna and 4 answers. It's very elaborately, if we read sometimes we forget. He gives in a crisp manner. Samuchayavada Khandanam. Easy to remember. 4 arguments, 4 answers. Then fourth reason he gave Agnishtoma Tulyatvat, he said. Then Acharya gave answer. Your example is Vishamam. Agnishtoma is a kamya karma. It is a kamya karma. Moksha, jnanam is a shuddha phalam. It is not kamya karma, it is shuddha phalam. Pure moksha, pure jnanam is shuddham. It doesn't have any expectation or any result orientation is not there. Therefore, kamya phalam, it is not kamya phalam. Kamya means what? Expecting something and doing something. Agnishtoma, you expect swarga and perform Agnishtoma. Jnanam, you want to get. Expecting what? Expecting something in what? Moksha. Moksha is nothing but your nature. Brahman is your nature. Mukti is your nature. Freedom is your nature. You are not expecting anything. It is not an object to expect. Like Swarga. Therefore, your example is not proper. Then, 26th shloka, Upasamhara, conclusion. Since Jnanam alone give moksha, karma cannot give moksha. Therefore, what? Publicity. One can join Vedanta class. Since karma cannot give moksha or liberation, karma cannot remove your samsara, dukkha, karma cannot remove or karma cannot give that peace, ananda, brahmananda. Therefore, come to Vedanta class, Jnana Kanda, you get peace of mind, ananda, security, happiness, everything comes. Anandamo Anandam, Ananda Kalip. Very Anandam Vanda, Gnana Vanda, Anandam. Illena, you can study, you get relative Ananda until you get Brahmananda, at least little, bit, konja Ananda vandande irukum. If you come to the class. Finally, Amrita Dhara, not Amrita Dhara. You recognize, I am Amritam, immortal, Atman. With this, first chapter is over. Very nice, important chapter. Therefore, now Shankaracharya is going to enter the second chapter known as Pratishedha Prakaranam. Now we will enter the first shloka. We will read. Page 88, first shloka. Pratishedhum ashakyatvat neti neti sheshitam idam naham ityatha pratipadyate. This chapter title is Pratishedha Prakaranam. Prakaranam means chapter. Pratishedha means negation. Negation. Before going to the shloka exact meaning, I will give you the background. Shastra, the method of teaching is this. Jnanam, that means self-knowledge. I want to get. That means the person who want to get self-knowledge is called pramata, the knower. The knower of Atma is called, knower of Atma or knower of anything is called pramata, the subject. The subject. I, the pramata, the knower. Knower of what? Something or other. Either one thing or other, I know, suppose. I am the pramata, the subject. Now, what I know is known as object. I know clip, I know mic, I know fan. What I know is different from me. Since I am subject, pramata, what I know must be different from the subject. What is different from subject is called object. That is object. That means object is known as prameyam. The subject is called pramata. Known object, that is called prameyam. Now, I, the pramata, am the subject. What is that prameyam I want to know? Knowledge about what? Brahman. So, Brahman comes under prameyam. Brahman comes under prameyam. Because I am the pramata, knower. I want to get knowledge about Brahman. So, Brahman knowledge, that Brahman must be the object of knowledge. Because I want to know Brahman, I know Brahman. Therefore, Brahman becomes the object of knowledge. Prameyam. Brahman is the prameyam. In Vedanta, parlance. We are not talking about chair knowledge, computer knowledge, anything. Namak vendiyadu enna knowledge? Brahman knowledge. So we have to discuss about Brahman only. So when I am the subject, pramata, knower, I want to know Brahman. Brahman comes under prameyam, object. Okay? Now, how can I know Brahman? I, the pramata, want to know the Brahman who is an object. How? Through pramanam, that is Shastra pramanam. Upanishad is the pramanam. Upanishad Shabda, Upanishadic statements are come under pramanam, a means of knowledge. It is called instrument. How do you know the color of the flower? You are the knower of the flower. Flower is object. You are the knower of the flower. You are the subject. Through the eyes you know the flower. So eyes come under what? Pramanam, instrument. You are the hearer. You hear the sound. Sound comes under what? Object. Prameyam. Any sound. How you hear? Through what? Ears. So ears comes under what? Pramanam, instruments. That is why we call Shrotra Indriyam, Chakshur Indriyam. They are all called Bahya Karanani. Karanam means Pramanam, instrument. Why it is called Pramanam? Prama Karanam Pramanam. That which gives Prama, Jnanam. Therefore, that instrument is called Pramanam. Understand? Nice to learn Sanskrit. See? Beautiful. Why it is called Pramana? Since it gives Prama, knowledge, therefore it is called Pramanam. Prama, knowledge, Karanam, that which gives, serves as an instrument to give Prama. Therefore, Prama, Karanam, Pramanam. Now, Upanishad or Upadesa Sahasri or Vedanta texts, they serve as Pramanam. So Upanishadic statements only, Prakarana Grandhas, Bhagavad Gita or any other text we study, all are from the basic moolam is Upanishad, Vedantic text. Therefore, Shastra is the Pramanam. Now here what is our Shastram? Upanishad. Upanishad is Shruti. Shruti is the Pramanam. Now come. Now you have understood what is Prama, what is Pramanam, what is Prameyam. Prama is called subject. I am. I the subject known as Pramata. Pramata, Pramanathinal, Premeyattai, Prama, Prameyam, the knower, Pramata, gets the knowledge of Prameyam through Pramanam and gets Prama. Gets Prama. So, Prama, Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam, Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam, Pramanam, Prameyam, Pramata. Hard to understand. Ellame ore madiri irukke Swamini. Pra is there, but meaning is different. Subject, object, instrument, knowledge. Clear? Now come here. Now Upanishad is the Pramanam. By studying Upanishad, I the Pramata going to get the knowledge of Brahman. Brahman, if it is an object of knowledge, I am the Pramata, Brahman is Prameyam, Dvaita comes, duality comes. Therefore, you cannot say Upanishad is talking about Brahman as an object. Adida. Why I am talking Prama, Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam? Understand now? Upanishad cannot reveal Brahman as an object. If Upanishad Pramanam reveals Brahman as an object, who is the knower of that Brahman object? I am the knower. Then I am the Pramata. So Pramata, I stands up apart. Prameyam Brahman, I am knowing. So subject-object relation. Subject-object division comes. One subject cannot be object, object cannot be Brahman, object cannot be the subject. That means the knower of Brahman always is different because he is a subject. Brahman is different because Brahman is object. Suppose you know this clock. Clock is an object. You are different from the clock. You are the subject. Isn't it? On all objects, whenever you see, get the knowledge, they are different, you are different, no problem. But when come to Brahman knowledge, Brahman is different from me. For that sake, knowledge sake, I need not come to class. I know already Brahman is different from me. I have come here to know I am Brahman. Now, Upanishad has to carefully teach. If Upanishad serves as a pramanam, like our ears, eyes and all, and Brahman will sit as prameyam, and we sit as pramata, dvaitam. Upanishad has not come to teach dvaitam. Upanishad has come to teach advaitam. So, Brahman is not as an object. Upanishad has to teach. How to teach, you tell me. Any pramanam teaching to pramata about what it is teaching will be an object only all the time. Now Upanishad has to teach. Kuramal kuri, sollamal solli, puriyamal purinji. Therefore, gaunataya, Upanishad gets the pramanam status. Really we cannot say Upanishad is pramanam. If you say pramanam, it is always showing a prameyam to the pramata. If you give real status, pramana status to Upanishad, that Brahman will become prameyam. This person, fellow jiva, will become pramata, prameyam, divide all the time. So Upanishad has to teach carefully, very carefully, Shurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. Eppadi sollano Upanishad? This is Brahman, Upanishad cannot reveal. If Upanishad says this is Brahman, may you understand Upanishad come in the object field. If it comes in object field, whole purpose is failed. Dvaitam. Then Upanishad has to teach what? This is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. Never, Upanishad never say this is Brahman, may you understand. No. Neti iti vachanair nigama avochu. This is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. How? Upanishad says, what is this body? This is not Brahman. Mind, this is not Brahman. Sense organs, they are not Brahman. This entire universe, whatever you are seeing, is not Brahman. Because body is an object, mind is an object, emotions are objects, all objects are all, outside world is object. Therefore, whatever you see, whatever you experience is not Brahman. Then who is Brahman? After negating everything, the unnegatable negator is Brahman. After negating everything, go on, negate. Negate. This is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, that is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. Then what? Who is Brahman? When you stop, this is not, it ends. What remains? The negator remains. The negator remain. The negator cannot be negated. The negator, whom I am negating everything. Negate. This is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. Nayiti. Neti. Nayiti Brahma. Nayiti. Brihadaranyaka Maitreyi Brahmanam. This is not. Then who is Brahman? This is not. Who is telling? That person is Brahman. So everyone has to, the pramata has to negate everything, pramata remain. Subject alone is Brahman. Don't look Brahman for Brahman's sake outside. I want to get Brahma darshanam. No. Whatever you get darshanam, it comes under object. That you cannot be that Brahman. Why? You are the subject. If you become Brahman, you become object. Then who is the subject? Who is the subject? If subject become an object, if you take Brahman as an object, I merge with the Brahman who is an object. And a subject gone. You cannot merge like that. Because subject can never become an object. Object can never become a subject. Therefore, subject is subject, object is object. Instrument is instrument. So, Shastra is a Kuramal Kuri. Brahman is like this, Brahman is like this. Shastra never teach Brahman as an object. Negate, not this, not this. After negating everything, Panchakosha Vilakshana Sakshi Chaitanyam Brahma. Don't look at your body. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jimhe nacha gra. Na is coming now. That netida. And the Nirvana Shatkam, Mano buddhi ahankara chittani na ahamu. That nakara is this nakara. Naiti, naiti. Shankaracharya wrote Nirvana Shatkam keeping this mantra neti neti. Understand? Nachavyoma bhuvir na tejo na vayuhu. I am not this thula shariram, sukshma shariram. Therefore, I am free from punya, papa, mantra, tirtha, everything. Dharma, adharma, I am beyond. I am means who? Higher I or lower I? Higher I. I am, don't come again, vachyartha. If you come to vachyartha, kuttu kedikum. அப்படியே ஏன்னா வாச்சார்த்த ஐ ஸ்டாண்ட் பாயிண்ட் இஃப் யூ லிசன் யூ ஆல்வேஸ் அப்படியே இருப்பான் யூ கேன் நெவர் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் தேர்ஃபோர் வென் குரு இஸ் டாக்கிங் யூ ஹாவ் டு வாக் ஜஸ்ட் Swamiji gives one example. When two persons are walking, wife and husband suppose, going for a walk, they are walking, he is talking, he thought she is listening. This lady, after walking some time, she sits or திண்ணையில் உட்கார்வா இந்த அம்மா அவர் பேசிகிட்டே போகிறார் ஊலேருந்து இல்லை பின்னாடி என்னாச்சுன்னு பார்த்து அங்கெங்கே உட்கார்ந்துருக்கான் அது மாதிரி சம்டைம்ஸ் அண்ட் ஸ்கூட்டர் ஆல்சோ இட் திஸ் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் இவர் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுவார் ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஸ்கூட்டர் he thought she sat already and the already gundu she takes time to sit. By that time, because of scooter sound, he thought she sat behind, but she is standing there and he is going அப்புறம் போய் பார்த்தா வீட்டுக்கு போய் பார்த்தா பின்னாடி ஆளே காணும் என்னப்பான்னா அப்படி குரு இஸ் டாக்கிங். Why I am giving this example? Guru is talking from a higher standpoint, higher I standpoint. Shishya also should listen from higher I standpoint. Don't connect to lower I. I am in problem if we connect like this. I have to pity of myself. I have to pity of myself. If you, when I am talking from higher standpoint, higher I standpoint, you listen from lower I standpoint. Ahankara, wife, husband, I am mutti vali, mudugu vali, ukkadandana, adu irundinde irukum. At body level, it is bound to be there. In spite of that, I am pure awareness. Sakshi Chaitanyam, I am. Like that, I have to listen. That is what going along with the teacher. Going along with not pinnadi. Going along with the teacher means that standpoint, order of reality. From which standpoint, which order of reality Guru is talking, I also has to listen that standpoint only. Then Guru's teaching and my listening tallies nicely. Smoothly you can understand, yes, aham brahma asmi. Shastra works. then Shastra works, I can say, yes, Shastra is giving the truth. Eppadi? Neti neti iti vachanai. Look into the shloka. Pratishedhum ashakyatvad neti neti iti sheshitam. This negator cannot be negated. Sheshitam means a remainder, not a reminder. Spelling correct about Kongo. Remainder. After negating everything, sheshitam. After neti neti iti, not this, not this. After saying everything, not this, not this, whatever is, whoever is telling not this, the negator, pratishedhum ashakyam. This negator cannot be negated. Pratishedhum means negatable. Ashakya means not possible. It is not possible to negate the negator. To negate the negator, someone negator must be there. Is it not? So, negator of everything cannot be negated. That is the meaning. Pratishedhum ashakyam. What? Seshitam. Seshitam means what? Negator. The negator of world, negating body, mind, world, everything, this negator, pratishedhum ashakyam. It negator cannot be negatable. Then idam na aham iti atha. Atha means sakshat aparokshataya pratipadyate. The Sishya janati. Pratipadyate means janati. Pratipad dhatu. He attains that knowledge. Pratipadyate. Sishya you have to supply. Sishyaha pratipadyate. What? Atha. Atha. Na ahamiti. The one who says, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. I, the Brahman, am not this, not this, not this. Atha, this is called Sakshat Jnanam. Sakshat means aparoksha jnana. Atha means Sakshat. Sakshat means aparoksha jnanam. This is direct knowledge. Aparoksha jnanam. More in the next class. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.